الرحمن الرحيم ويجوز التيمم عند أبي حنيفة ومحمد بكل ما كان من جنس الأرض كالتراب والرمل والحجر والجس والنورة والكحل والزرنيج. We done this part yesterday, but I'm just doing this again because it ties into the last part. The tayammum will be permissible according to Imam Abu Hanifa and Muhammad. But Imam Muhammad, Abu Hanifa was called طرفين, طرفين بكل ما كان من جنس الأرض. Everything comes from the earth. I told you, anything which comes from the earth and it does not melt when it's heated, right? So in Abu Hanifa, everything that comes, it won't be gold, silver, all that type of thing. Because even if it is heated into a sand, rubble means like desert sand, rocks, gypsum, lime, antimony, and arsenic, right? So that is now Imam Hanifa and Muhammad. Well, listen nicely. وقال أبو يوسف لا يجوز إلا بالتراب والرمل. So Imam Yusuf said only what sand and ramal refer to um, like a desert sand, unfertile sand, sand that does not grow. Let me see. Check if everything is right there. Or that time you mean I mean that was right. So Imam Yusuf is a bit restricted. He says uh, you can make with sand and also with like the desert sand, like it's like dry, rough, coarse sand, right? Then Imam Shafi is even more restricted, right? وقال الشافعي لا يجوز إلا بالتراب المنبت. He says only for وهو رواية, and this is also so the one riwayat of Imam Yusuf is fertile sand and dry, rough, coarse sand, right? You check this was Ramal, what you got like coarse, rough, dry sand, huh? So yes. Well, in English it's the same thing, right? So وقال الشافعي, Imam Shafi is more restrictive. لا يجوز إلا بالتراب المنبت. Sand it is fertile, not like desert sand, right? And وهو رواية عن أبي يوسف, and this is also a riwayat from Imam Abu Yusuf, right? And what's it لقول عليه السلام, and this is, what is the proof? فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا. This is Imam Shafi's proof. Make tayammum with tayyib means like wholesome. So wholesome sand. So what is wholesome sand? Wholesome sand is that sand that it is fertile. Because if sand is not wholesome, then it's useless. You understand what I'm saying? So he said, أي ترابا منبتا. قال ابن Abbas, and Ibn Abbas say the same thing. قال ابن Abbas, he said it must be a wholesome sand, right? Which can grow. غير أن أبا يوسف زاد عليه الرمل. So if you look at the first call of Imam Yusuf, he said sand, wholesome sand, right? What he said? Sand and okay, there's a request here that we repeat the names of the things, but the names here of the things, I'll repeat the names of the stuff that you can use according to Imam Hanifa, but it's irrelevant. The main thing is Imam Hanifa is saying this. If you understand this much here, that Imam Hanifa said anything that comes from the earth, right? Anything that comes from the earth and it does not melt, it doesn't matter what it is. These are only examples of that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'll give you more examples. So turab means what we say is like normal fertile sand that is used to plant things. Ramal, according to my understanding, if you look in the dictionary, they tell you sand and they tell you soil. But we know sand and soil is the same thing in English. But from my understanding, if anybody has any different research, they can share that research. But what I understand, Rama referred to unproductive sand, like rough core sand, like maybe desert sand or beach sand or something like that, right? Well, Hajari, Hajar means a rock. Well, just see gypsum. Gypsum is also they use it in the ceiling towards ground. These are common uses that we know about, but there might be other uses. Kuhli is a surma you use in your eyes. Antimony, yeah, this I pronounce it. And was Zirniji, this is like we it was a small it was like blue crystals on. Okay, I think we're back on. Sorry about it. There was a break. So somebody asked, we must give the translation of this words again. But yes, inshallah, we gave the translation and we can give it again, no problem. But the main thing there is understand this here that it's not these specific things that you can make tayammum with. These are just examples of things that comes from the ground. These are examples of things that come from the ground, and they do not melt when they are heated. So if there's anything else besides this, I'm trying to think about things that come that are mined or quarried from the ground. Um, but besides, it's like I was one thing in my mind, cement. You know, cement is also comes from the ground, although maybe they add something extra into it, maybe some chemicals, etc. But cement primarily comes from the ground, isn't it? And can you think about anything else? Anybody knows anything else? I'm thinking about maybe you can just Google it or examples of other things that are mined from the ground. So anything that comes from the ground, Imam Abu Hanifa is very flexible. He's the most flexible in this thing. Anything that is mined from the ground, as long as it is not something that will melt when it is heated, right? So, as I said, these are just examples. Whereas Imam Yusuf said, it must be sand, fertile sand or unfertile sand, one of the two. And then as Imam Shafi was even more strict, and he said it must be only fertile sand, sand that you something can grow for. And why? How did he get? He says Sa'idan Tayyiba. He said, look here, Tayyib means wholesome, and wholesome will mean sand that something can grow from it, right? And in fact, that is also Qala who? Qala ibn Abbasin. and Imam Ibn Abbas also said that. Then, so the one call of Imam Abu Yusuf is exactly with as Imam Shafi, but غير أن أبا يوسف زاد عليه الرمل. But so he says, Imam Yusuf also said that the sand must be productive sand, it must be fertile sand. But there's another hadith which also says that you can make wudu. I mean, you can make tayammum with ramal, and this he got from another hadith. عليكم بأرضكم, right? So, غير أن أبا يوسف زاد عليه الرمل. Imam Yusuf he added ramal with the hadith الذي the one that we narrated earlier, right? So I hope that's clear. Is it clear so far till there, right? We gave you the madhab of each one. We gave you the Imam Yusuf's, and we told you also that I repeat that these are just examples of things that's mined or quarried from the earth. If there's anything else that is quarried from the earth, like cement or anything else, and something doesn't melt, because that means it's still in its original form, then you can also make tayammum with it, right? Now, we're going to come back to, if you look, uh, Imam Abu Hanifa's and Imam Muhammad's opinion, which was the most flexible opinion there, that you can make wudu, or you can make tayammum with anything that is from the earth, so long as that not melt when it's heated. What's their proof? Here's their proof. Lahuma anna sa'ida ismun liwajil ardi. Say, look at the word sa'id. Sa'id, it is a word that is used for the surface of the earth, like for the top of the earth, right? Ismun liwajil ardi. Why? Sumya bihi li su'udi. Why is the surface of the earth called sa'id? Because no, the surface is the top of the earth in Su'ud means to be on top, right? Then he says, what tayyibu. Now, if you look at the word tayyib, right, it's mushtarak. You done, mashallah, you done in your usulul fiqh. What is mushtarak? It can have multiple meanings, right? So, what tayyibu yahtamilu taharata, yahtamilu tahira. If you look at the word tayyib, it has a possibility of two meanings. One is tahir and one is mumbit. It could mean pure earth, or it could mean what? Productive earth, fertile earth, right? So they're saying, فَحُمِلَ عَلَيْهِ. So this is the part you muttered out yesterday. It will be taken to mean pure earth. We'll take the meaning of pure earth. So it will be taken to the meaning of pure earth. Pure earth. فَحُمِلَ عَلَيْهِ. Why? Because look here. Here we're speaking about taharat. We're speaking about gaining taharat. So the subject revolves about taharat. So obviously, when Allah Ta'ala is telling you, you must use the earth to gain taharat, you, and the word tayyib has two meanings. There's a meaning of productive, and it has the meaning of pure. Obviously, it will make sense that you must use, it would mean pure earth, right? It means earth is not contaminated. And I explain you this masla here, although it's not in the kitab. Okay, let's finish here. لأنه أليق بموضع الطهارة. So since it's like another example, just to understand it better, look at the word jariya. Jariya could mean a slave girl, and jariya could mean a ship. If you are sitting at the beach and you say, look at the unzur ila al-jariyati, look at the jariya, what will you think? You may just refer to a ship, and not refer to a slave girl, right? Because from the context, you'll understand it here. What is meant is a ship. So same thing here. We are speaking about earth, and we speak about getting taharat, and the word tayyib. It has two possibilities. So obviously it would mean some pure earth, clean earth. Are you with me? So from the context, we'll take the word of tahir. And then also you done this in the school. When you a mushtarak word, when you intend one meaning, only one meaning will be applicable. Both meanings won't be applicable, right? We discussed this also. So we say it means pure earth. So that's why we say it means so long as the earth is pure, whether it is productive or not, or whether something can grow from it doesn't matter whether it's ramal or not. لأن اليق بموضع الطهارة, because here we are discussing taharat, and so it will be more appropriate to mean tayyib to mean taharat, right. وهو مراد بالإجماع, and tayyib to mean taharat. This is the ijma' of the ulama that means taharat or tahir. Are you with me? Right. While we're discussing this, another masla which is related to this, which I want to discuss. Right. I told you that Nabi Sallallahu mentioned the hadith, Taharatul Ardi Yubswa. This is a very relevant masla for us even today. Listen nicely to this masla here, right? Listen nicely. That here we're not speaking about a processed earth. We're not speaking like a carpet or concrete, whatever. We speak about natural ground, right? We speak about natural ground, like maybe outside you have the grass, you have rocks, whatever. Now the hadith say that if that gets contaminated with some type of najasat, if it gets naturally dried by the sun, it automatically becomes pure. Are you with me? So say for instance, a dog urinated here outside on the grass, a dog on the grass, right? So you don't have to physically go and take water and wash that urination off. All if the sun dries it up, it automatically becomes pure, right? So that means so you don't have to be so strict. If you're going outside, you're going to the beach, you're going to the park, wherever, so long as you don't see any najasa there, you don't have to worry what happened in the past. You can read the mass on that. Because as I said, taharatuha yubsuha, that it's drying, it is purification. So you can read the mass anyway, you can read the mass anyway, right? So remember this, Masta. You out in the wilderness, you out, and then and then you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry that I have to have a musalla here, I have to have this, I have to. You can read, right? So with reading salat upon it, there is no problem with it, right? But now the thing is, can you make tayammum on that? No, you can't make tayammum until the najasat has been washed away. Why? Why? Because Nabi says, "Fatayammamu what's the verse? فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدُوا مَاءً فَتَيَمَّمُوا صَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا." You must make tayammum with what? With pure earth. You must make tayammum with pure earth. So that shows you that just the drying of it is not good enough. It must be made pure. You understood? So remember that if the land is it is uh, contaminated najasat, just the natural drying is good enough to reach salah with it. But to make tayammum, it must be washed. It must be washed. Are you with me? Okay, read the next. We done this. ثم لا يشترط أن يكون عليه غبار in أبي حنيفة. Then it is not a condition that there be dust upon it. So any of these things, items which come from the ground, naturally, it comes from the ground, right? So because it itself is your means of taharat, there's no need that any dust must be on it. There's no need that any ثم لا يشترط أن يكون عليه غبار إلا أبي حنيفة لإطلاق ما تلونا, because the verse is clear that you can just make the tayammum with anything that comes from the earth, right? وكذا يجوز بالغبار مع القدرة على الصعيد إن أبي حنيفة. And like that also you can, if you got dust, so maybe sometimes you are locked up in a jail or whatever, Allah Ta'ala protect, or maybe you are in a place where there's nothing, and there's no rock, there's no arsenic, this dust you can make on the dust also. Why? Because what is dust? Dust is actually very, very fine sand. So وكذا يجوز بالغبار مع القدرة على صيد النبي حنيفة ومحمد لأنه تراب رقيق, because this is in essence, it is very fine sand. Okay, read the next one, inshallah. Okay, interesting. Now we discussed this before, that for wudu you don't have to have a niyat. If you went into the shower and you don't have intention you're gonna make wudu in the shower, you just jumped in the shower and all the limbs that needed to be washed in wudu is washed, your wudu is done, right? Or maybe you went out in the rain here, right? And your body got wet to such an extent that whatever need to be washed in wudu, it got wet. We'll say your wudu is done. But if it happens as such that all that need to be covered with a hand that was on dust or sand, your all those limbs were covered, well, we say your tayammum is done and you had no niyat? No. We will say no, you have to have the niyat. And why do we have to have niyat here? Well, niyatu fardun fit tayammumi. Niyat is necessary in tayammum. Why? وقال زفر ليس بفرض. Imam Zufar says not fard. Why? لأنه خلف عن الوضوء. He said, look here, tayammum is a substitute for wudu. And in wudu, you don't need niyat. So if tayammum is a substitute for wudu, like so in wudu, you don't need niyat, you also don't need it. فلا يخالف في وصفه. ولنا we say أنه ينبع عن القصد. We say, look here, if you look at the word tayammum, tayammama yatammam, it means to intend. What tayammum means, right? Yumbit al-qazi, fala yatahaqqaqu dunahu. So if tayammum itself has the meaning of intend, then how can you get tayammum without uh, intending it? Then the next one is very interesting. They say, look here, water intrinsically has the ability to cleanse. So I'll give you some examples. Say there's some najasat here on me, right? There's some najasat here. But if I take water and I throw the water over that najasat, whether I intend to clean it, I don't intend to, still it's going to remove the najasat. So that's why when you use water, whether you make intention for wudu or you don't make intention for wudu, its intrinsic quality is to cleanse. So that's why you don't need niyat. But if you look at earth, if you look at the rock, its intrinsic quality is not to cleanse. Only Shariat has made it a cleaner at the time of necessity. Shariat has made it a cleaner at the time of necessity. So for it to have the cleaning action, you must have the intention. That's what he's saying. See, ولنا أنه ينبئ عن القصد فلا يتحقق دونه. We say that it informs, it gives the meaning of qasd, فلا يتحقق دونه. So it will not have the ability to clean without intention because its very essence in its meaning, it means in cleansing. And أو جعل طهورا في حالة مخصوصة. If you look at rock, earth, it has been made a cleaner. جعل طهورا is made a cleaner في حالة مخصوصة, only under specific circumstances, when there's no water, when you don't have the ability to use it. والماء طهور بنفسه على ما مر. And water, it intrinsically is a cleanser. That's why I don't need intention. So here, because it is only becomes a cleaner under certain circumstances, you need to have that intention for it to be a cleaner. Are you with me? Okay, we'll stop there. We shall continue tomorrow, inshallah. Thus, subhanallahi wa bihamdihi subhanakallah wa